Hello everyone, tonight I will take you into the heart of the Norfolk Fens, a place where the air is thick with mist, and the land stretches flat and endless, where reeds whisper like restless spirits, and the ground itself feels alive with secrets, and it is here that the legend of the Lantern Man is told, a tale passed down through generations of fen folk, a story that begins with a light in the darkness, a beckoning glow that promises safety but leads only to doom. Our story follows Thomas, a young man from Cambridge who had always been fascinated by folklore. He was an amateur historian who spent his weekends exploring the countryside, chasing stories of ghosts and ancient superstitions. Though he never truly believed them, he saw them as curiosities, reflections of human fear and imagination. But when he heard of the Lantern Man, a spectral figure said to haunt the marshes near Downham Market, he decided to see for himself. He packed his recorder, a torch, and a notebook, and set off into the fens one misty evening. His car parked at the edge of a narrow lane, the sky already bruised with twilight, the air damp and heavy. He stepped onto the path that wound through reeds, their tall stalks whispering as the wind shifted, the ground soft beneath his boots, and as he walked deeper into the marsh, he felt the silence pressing in, broken only by the occasional croak of a hidden frog or the distant cry of a bird. The fen seemed endless, its flatness disorienting, the horizon swallowed by mist, and soon the last light of day bled away, leaving him in a darkness so complete his torch beam felt swallowed by it. He paused to write a note about the eerie quality of the place, about how easily one could get lost, when he saw it, a light in the distance, faint, distinct, bobbing gently as if someone were walking with a lantern. His heart leapt with both excitement and unease. Was this the Lantern Man of legend, or simply another walker? He called out, his voice sounding strange in the damp air, but there was no answer, only the steady movement of light ahead. Curiosity overcame caution, and he followed, stepping carefully along the path as the glow drifted just out of reach, always close enough to see, never close enough to catch. He quickened his pace, his breath fogging in the cold, his notebook forgotten at his side. The light led him deeper into the fen, away from the path, and though he knew he should not stray, he found himself unable to resist. His feet moved as if pulled by some invisible force. The ground grew softer, sucking at his boots, the reeds closing in around him like walls, yet still the light beckoned, golden and warm against the endless gray mist. He thought he heard footsteps ahead, splashing faintly, but when he stopped the sound ceased, leaving only the quickening thud of his heart. Suddenly the light flickered, flared brighter, and he saw it clearly, a lantern held aloft by a figure half hidden in mist, tall and gaunt, its face obscured beneath a hood, its hand bony and pale gripping the lantern's handle. Thomas froze, every instinct screaming to turn back. But the figure tilted the lantern as though inviting him closer, and his body moved before his mind could resist. He splashed forward, the water rising around his ankles, his torch beam trembling across the reeds. Hello? He called again, his voice cracking. Do you need help? But the figure gave no reply, only turned and drifted further into the fen, its lantern glowing brighter. Thomas stumbled after it, his breath ragged, the ground growing treacherous, pools of dark water opening between tufts of grass. And then he noticed the silence, so complete it rang in his ears. No frogs, no birds, no wind, only his own gasps and the faint hiss of the lantern flame. Dread coiled in his stomach as he realized the truth. This was no human, this was the Lantern Man himself, and he was being led into the marsh where countless others had vanished. Panic surged and he turned to retrace his steps, but the path was gone, swallowed by mist and water, the reeds all alike, no landmark, no direction. And when he spun back, the figure was closer, its hooded head lifting slightly, revealing a face pale as bone, eyes hollow and gleaming with cold fire. Thomas staggered back, slipping in the mud, his torch falling with a splash, the light extinguished, leaving only the lantern's glow. The figure raised its hand, and the light swelled until it burned like a miniature sun, searing his vision, and he heard voices then, countless whispers layered atop one another. Cries and gasps, the final sounds of those who had been lured before, their despair woven into a chorus of doom. Thomas clapped his hands to his ears, but the sound was inside his skull, filling him with terror. The figure moved closer still, the lantern's flame stretching, flickering like skeletal fingers reaching for him. He tried to run, but the ground gave way beneath him, plunging him waist deep into freezing water, reeds clawing at his arms as he struggled. The lantern light reflected in the black surface, multiplying, surrounding him, and in each reflection he saw faces, pale drowned faces staring up from beneath the water, their mouths open in silent screams, their eyes wide with eternal fear. He screamed, thrashing wildly, but the more he fought, the deeper he sank, the mud sucking him down, the water rising to his chest, his chin, his mouth, the lantern figure looming above him, its voice at last cutting through the whispers, low and hollow, "Come with me." Thomas's last breath bubbled into the dark water as he was dragged under. The lantern's light the last thing he saw, bright and merciless. The next morning his car was found abandoned at the edge of the lane, his notebook on the seat with pages smeared by damp fingers, the words trailing off. Mid-sentence, locals shook their heads, muttering that the lantern man had claimed another. And though the authorities listed him as missing, those who know the Fens understand the truth, that he walks now among the drowned. His voice one more whisper in the endless chorus, and to this day travelers warn that if you walk the marshes at night and see a lantern glow in the mist, do not follow, no matter how safe or inviting it may seem, because the lantern man does not guide, he lures, and his light will lead you only into the depths, where your cries will be swallowed by the reeds, and your soul will become another flicker in the fog, waiting for the next wanderer foolish enough to follow the glow.